What's up, everybody? Josh and Jay back with the podcast. America is Blue. Here to talk a little Champions League draw. It's always an exciting time of the year, and what's so funny is oftentimes I'm not necessarily paying attention. Then I wake up with notifications on my phone, and I find out who we're playing in the Champions League, or that the draw was today, and it was definitely an interesting one. And I am really looking forward to what they're, I guess, they're some are dubbing the Pulisic Derby. Christian Pulisic going up against his boyhood club in Borussia Dortmund in the round of 16, and I think it's going to be a pretty exciting game. Um, one comment I wanted to make though was old Dortmund might not have had a lot of recent success in the Champions League, but the last time that they were in the final, we were watching it together in Yankee Stadium just before Chelsea was playing an exhibition game against Manchester City at Yankee Stadium, and it was awesome. That was the last time that they had a really successful run, but I can definitely remember that.
It was still in the infancy of our fanhood. So we were just starting to learn a little bit about the sport and about the squad, and I didn't pay any attention to the Champions League game. I don't think I fully understood the significance of what that all meant. I was just paying attention to Chelsea that day in a meaningless game. So that's how much I knew.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely a good time, but getting into Dortmund, and granted, we're these games don't kick off until February, but everybody still cares about the draw, and you know looking at them right now, did a little, just a little research, a little token research for everybody. Is Dortmund's currently fourth in the league. They've taken 26 out of 39 possible points, and they're 3 points off the top of Bayern. So that's a real tight gap between the top four in the Bundesliga right now. And they definitely finished second in their group. Obviously, that's why they got in the pots with us, and they finished second to City in the group. So you know, probably the second best team in Germany. They've got great colors. The black and gold uniforms are great. They always have great kits. And their stadium, Signal Iduna Park, is quite an intimidating place to play. That's where the first leg is. You got any thoughts, Jay?
Who outside of Germany doesn't like Borussia Dortmund? They're such a cool club. I love them.
I like
Yeah,
them.
listen, you get this team. They're so good at scouting. They pull in this amazing young talent. They're able to coach them up, groom them, get them ready for primetime football. Then they sell these guys for exorbitant amounts of money, right? Strip the team to the bones, and then automatically retool. Like they just pump out prodigy after prodigy after prodigy. So I don't know. There's something I like about the novelty of that, where you don't have Real Madrid, Chelsea, Barcelona money to just throw around at big time players, and you can still be a very, very relevant club on the world stage. So I have a lot of respect for them as far as what they do with bringing in and developing talent. And I think they're going to be a tough draw for us. It certainly could have been worse, but this is not going to be easy.
I mean, 100%. And couldn't agree on your sentiments more. If I had to, choose a German team, it would definitely be them.
Yeah.
I really, just kind of like everything about the club. I like the type of stature. And again, I love the kits, love the combination. I love the history, and yeah, the model that these guys are able to bring in this type of talent. Like, I mean, you name it, Robert Lewandowski, Obama Yang, Erling Haaland. That's just the strikers. I mean, like you haven't even gotten into the other attacking players that they
Erling
have.
Haaland was like a temporary pit stop. Like that wasn't even like a good find and then a good, developmental piece. He just like, I need to, get a stepping stone before I go big time. So I might as well hop there.
Well, I mean, but he still, was shot out of a rocket ship once he got, into the Bundesliga, and that was his stage to do it. So, I mean, hat tip for them, to them for bringing him in. But, admittedly, obviously the real easy headline and the obvious one, at least, from my perspective, it's the battle of having the American, star boys out there. You've got, arguably the two most talented American players, in the same matchup. in the Champions League, which is great for the American brand of football. Hopefully, we can continue to expand on that. But I'm really excited to see Gio in there. Hopefully, if he can build off a World Cup performance and get more minutes, because again, they do face off in February. But they do have a lot of top line talent, a lot of names that and a lot of guys who will be playing in Qatar, in the holidays.
Yeah, the narratives on top of Pulisic going back, you do have Aubameyang going back, and if we wouldn't have sacked Tuchel, we could have built this storyline up even more. So well, one of the three won't be there, obviously, but this is a talented squad, right? Gio Reyna is a great player. Jude Bellingham is wanted all over England. They have a lot of talent in key positions, and now they have another brand new prodigy up top, and Youssoufa Moukoko. So
and he's looking for his way out now too. Like it's tough to keep these guys together. And I guess I would almost say as someone who is a casual Dortmund fan, I definitely check out their games. I'm always interested in what Reyna's doing. I like the squad. They've underperformed, generally speaking, because they've had a lot of top tier talent. We've just gone through the list, and at least from a fan perspective, I could see how perhaps they've underachieved. Granted, no one's been able to dethrone Bayern in the Bundesliga, but you would think that they would have a little bit more success in some of the cups, maybe a little bit further advancement in those Champions League competitions, or if they do drop down to Europa, lifting that cup. But it really hasn't been a trophy lifting type of situation for them, at least of late. And given the talent that they do have, you'd think that you would expect a little bit more production out of that sort of crop.
It's a tough situation. The analogy is in France, is when you have one really, really, really dominant team, the funnel for talent narrows tremendously. So when you have great homegrown German talent, or if you have a tremendous player from a different league who's potentially looking to go over there, I don't know if they're looking at Dortmund as a destination, right? Like they know what they have to do which is to find young players who don't really have a chance to crack the first lineup at Munich and at some of the other big clubs, get them in, develop them. And I think with a lot of the turnover that they have, whether it's the manager, whether it's their talent, I think it makes it tough for them to be able to progress in some of these competitions and to be able to add additional silverware, just because, again, there's just too much in flux. But with what they have, the fact that they're continually able to compete with bodies leaving continuously, I think that speaks volumes.
Oh, I mean, it's obviously a very, very, very well run club. That's not up for debate in any way, shape, or form. But you just going into that roster a little bit more. A couple guys I'll point out. We have the names that and Mats Hummels is still there, and he's 33. It feels like he's 43, like he should be older than Thiago Silva or something like that. But then you're also just like, how is that possible? But Mats Hummels is still there, still in a starting role, putting himself in a position to continue to prolong his career. And then Nicolas Sula, he's a guy I always liked when he was at Bayern. This dude is an absolute bulldozer. He's
monster.
Huge. He's 6'5", like 220, number 25. Keep your eyes on him. Those two guys in the back. One sort of mainstay and one younger guy who's just like a giant. He's a beast.
I think you hit it. They have this weird combo of, veterans who you've seen forever. Marco Reus as well. That guy's been around forever at this point. And then you have these young stud guys who are trying to figure out their games and figure out where their careers are going to take them. But they do have a good blend of experienced players who have played at the highest levels, whether it was internationally or for clubs. And then they have these young bucks who are going out there. So that may be our one advantage, I think. Obviously our form now doesn't matter. There's months before this game, the first game even kicks off, which actually bodes well for us because we have a lot to figure out. But the fact that we do have a lot of players who do have experience in competitions like this, hopefully that bodes well for us. Whereas in their camp, they really haven't had the level of success and that type of experience. So hopefully that works in our favor.
Well, I definitely believe that, because here's the thing. Now that now that Chelsea is a two-time European champion, that makes a huge difference. Winning one, people can say the blind luck or, just a single great one. Once it happens twice, that's how you get a third. You can't have that third till you get that second. And there's a couple teams out there, Man City in particular, that would love to get their hands on one, which has been, extremely elusive. So, it's one thing to break through, but then, getting that second really puts us in a little bit of a different class in terms of, the ability to look back and say, we can do this. And it's not like it's some done and dusted, achievement. This happened 2 years ago. And, a lot of the same guys are still a part of that team. So, that is the brilliance of the Champions League. Is even me as the fan, I believe that a sixth place Chelsea team in the league can win the Champions League because they did. We don't need to finish first domestically to win the biggest trophy of them all. And it's almost like the Liverpool model in the O's, where they never won the league. They didn't win anything, but I'll tell you what, Steven Gerrard winning in 2009 and, the success that they had in the Champions League is unbelievable, despite their inability to win the Premier League. So I think this is definitely a competition that we can win.
Yeah, there's something about when, even if the players that are on the current squad weren't around when you've had tremendous success, there's something to be said about the history of organizations and franchises and how the new players, it just gives them a little bit of an edge over the teams that have never done it before. Even if the players on the squad weren't around for that, didn't actually experience it. It's just, again, it's built into the DNA of clubs to know, hey, listen, we have been champions. We've done this before. We now have the edge moving forward. So I think that'll play well into this. I think a lot needs to happen with our club, with building this identity, with Graham Potter trying to mold this team, with guys getting back onto the pitch before I feel confident saying that we're going to go on another run. But listen, I don't know if I would have said that 2 years ago. I wouldn't have bet that we were going to go on a run at that point in time. So a lot can happen between now and February, and hopefully we can just get our bodies back on the field, get guys healthy, get them working together, and we'll see what this team is made of.
No, 100%. So, I mean, couple other guys I just want to give a little shine before we, wrap it up. But, Jude Bellingham, who you touched on, you have Daoud in the midfield, Julian Brandt, used to be one of the brightest, German talents, and, he's diminished a little bit, but, every time I look up, he seems to be in the team. He's playing, and then there are some positive superlatives thrown at him. So I think he's coming into his own. And then obviously you got Moukoko, Thorgan Hazard. He's definitely the little brother. There's no doubt about that. But no, he poses a threat nonetheless. And Royce, I think, is hurt again. That guy just
He's old.
Can't take. Well, I mean, even when he wasn't old, he was still pretty susceptible to injury, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, dude. They have. I'm gonna mangle his name, but Meunier. He's had plenty of experience playing for Belgium. Karim Adeyemi. That's another threat. So they have studs on their squad. It's a matter about who's going to be in the best form and who's going to be playing with the right mindset once we actually face off in February.
And Emre Can's on that roster too. Another guy, well. How you're like, how is he, still around? He's like Jake Taylor from the old Cleveland Indians. It's like that guy's everywhere. But so okay, nothing to predict tonight. We know that we're heading into the Carabao Cup tie with Manchester City on Wednesday. Not a whole lot to talk about until we get into the match preview. But anything you want to tease heading into Wednesday, Jay?
Not for Wednesday, but I want to get your thoughts outside of Chelsea and Dortmund. Who is the other matchup you're looking forward to out of the Champions League draw? There were some sexy. No, there's more than one. There's some sexy matchups.
There's a couple, but I mean, come on, PSG Bayern. I mean, give me that all day.
You tell me if Liverpool comes back healthy, they get their bodies back on the field and somehow figure this thing out, and they're going up against Real Madrid. I think that could be interesting as well. Dude, say what you want about Liverpool's performances in the Prem. I mean, some of that has been just dreadful. But in Champions League, they've been getting it done.
Oh, and in big games, they rise up. It's Liverpool Football Club. I mean,
I cannot wait to watch both of those matchups. I also, wouldn't it be just nice? Just a nice little favor back to the boys if Fikayo Tomori and Olivier Giroud can just spank out those Spurs. Just spank them out.
Oh, God, it would be
get them
great.
out of there.
A bunch of academy boys and Serginho Dest, the American. Hopefully he can give
Do
us a little
favor.
boost.
Do us a favor.
And Rafael Leao, our favorite man to admire from afar. But yeah, we're definitely looking for Milan to make something happen there. No, that would be good. No, I mean you raised great points, but there's something to be said about either the Germans losing, or B, Neymar losing again. Like, I mean, sounds.
It's an epic. That should be a final. But it's great that it's happening so early in the draw, right? It's good, it just makes it more exciting. That is going to be an amazing time.
It definitely does. And from my perspective, it's a win-win because I'll be kind of laughing at whoever loses because it's awesome. It's awesome to see Bayern lose, and it's awesome to see Neymar win. I hope he never wins anything.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, so let's wrap up. We got a preview coming in a couple of days. Tie it up, buddy.
No, I mean that's pretty much it for now. Not much else to say here, Mr. Callahan. But we appreciate everybody out there. We appreciate the support. Jay and I'll be back with the preview for the cup tie a little bit later on this week. But until then, everybody appreciate you. America is indeed blue. Good night, y'all.